Welcome everyone to the 2020 Chant West Superfund Awards. This year is going to be a bit different to previous years. We're not going to be able to provide food for everyone who attends. Sorry about that. And also we can't have the winners up on stage, of course.
But you know what, Ian? Some things are still the same. We're still going to be celebrating the best of the best. We're still going to be celebrating those funds that are really looking at how they deliver retirement outcomes. And while it will take us a little less time than we've done in the past, we'll only be spending an hour with you to do this, it's still a really important thing that we should be doing each year.
And this year, the theme of the awards is the long term. For super funds, the main game is not just what we do for our members this year, but it's what we do for our members over the next 30 years as they approach retirement and move into retirement. As super funds, what we need to do is gear up so that we have all we need to be strong funds for the long term. We need to invest in our people. We need to invest in our systems. And also we need to invest our members' money in ways that will provide great outcomes for our members for the long term, not just this year. This is what the best funds have done, and this is what the best funds will continue to do in years to come. And to kick off the awards, we're going to cross now to Martin Fay, ASFA's CEO.
Thank you, Ian, and thank you to Chant West and to you, Jeff, for having me here to participate in this celebration of excellence and outstanding achievements across the superannuation industry. It's always great to be part of the Chant West Awards. I've had the pleasure of being involved over the years. And I think it's particularly important at this time of adversity that we recognise excellence and we recognise what it is we do to deliver good outcomes in retirement for Australians. Over the years, we've obviously had an opportunity to recognise that excellence, but I think at this point in time, it's beholding on us to be optimistic about the future. Cheerfulness is a choice, and I think we can be optimistic about our recovery as we come out of this crisis. We can be optimistic about the future of superannuation, and I think we can be optimistic about the role that Australia is going to play in the global recovery. The reality is that we attempt to build back better, if you like, in the coming months and years. Superannuation is going to play a key role. It's going to help recapitalize companies in the ASX. It's going to help provide important finance to those companies that need to find additional capital. We're going to rebuild better infrastructure for a low carbon future. And we're going to build out the livable cities, the healthcare systems, transport infrastructure that we need. Having a strong superannuation has meant that in this time of adversity, we've been able to give superannuants in Australia early access to over $10 billion of their savings. 1.2 million people have to date tapped into their savings. And that speaks to the strength and resilience of our system. But that strength and resilience requires that superannuation has adequacy, that it's compulsory, and that it's universal. And we need to defend those pillars going forward. In the coming weeks and months, the settings around superannuation will be challenged as the Retirement Income Review reports and as we go into the October budget with a very challenging fiscal situation. But I'm confident that as we go out to make sure about those settings, that there'll be a recognition of the important role which a stronger super can play out there. And from my point of view, as you've said already today, it's about looking forward not just in months and years, but in decades, to how we can rebuild this civil society, how we can make sure that Australia continues to be, to help our most vulnerable, the role that superannuation can play in our society and our economy. So thank you very, very much for having me. Congratulations again to all the outstanding participants and in particular to the award winners. And we look forward to getting together in the near future, face to face, as we recover from this crisis. Thank you.
Thanks for taking the time at a very busy time for you. Appreciate it.
Not at all.
So this award is about doing the right thing by members. All funds must do this process in order to meet their legal responsibilities, but some funds have really stood out in terms of doing the right thing even above and beyond what's required through their prudential matters.
Australian Super has probably gone further than any other fund with its portfolio holdings disclosure. The fund reports all 2,000 of its shareholdings, all 1,000 of its fixed interest holdings all around the world, including the smallest one worth only $79. It also shows all of its swap positions and all of its unlisted assets, all 500 of them. This is great transparency.
HESTA's approach to responsible investing is world class. In fact, They have been recognised by the United Nations supported Principles for Responsible Investing as a global leader in ESG. They use impact investing to identify and allocate their funds into investments that do good as well as generate great performance. Their annual report is not just a compliance document, but it tells a compelling story about how each area of the fund's operations generates great outcomes for members, community and even the planet, as well as good returns and what's next into the future.
Q Super adopted its unique investment approach just after the GFC. While it generally provides a smoother return for members, there have been periods where it's lagged behind most other funds. But Q Super has stuck to its convictions and the belief that this model is better for members. And over the past few months, it's done particularly well for its members with much lower losses than other funds.
Sunsuper's engagement with external advisors is one of its great features. It does this through Advisor Online portal. It actually allows advisors to transact on behalf of members, which means advisors can spend more time delivering quality advice to Sunsuper's almost 1.5 million members.
Vic Super's transparency in its reporting is impressive. Its annual report is very well presented and incorporates a range of sub-reports focusing on both financial but also non-financial issues. There's also a dashboard that shows how the fund has added value to the whole range of different stakeholders in the fund. It provides a huge amount of information on its responsible investment approach, as well as lots of information on how it deals with things like complaints, proxy voting, company engagement, and a whole range of other issues. Vic Super's reporting clearly shows in detail what the fund does, why it does these things, and the difference that all these things make for its members. And the winner of Best Fund Integrity is Vic Super.
That's a great result, Ian, and I noticed that Vic Super have been consistent in this. They were also a co-winner of it last year.
Yeah, I've seen so many annual reports over my time, and most of them are so boring and of little value, to be honest. But Vic Super has gone to the trouble of thinking about what are we about as a fund and how can we communicate that clearly to members and show members this is what we believe in and this is what we've done.
Great result. It's hard to innovate when the regulatory environment keeps changing, and how much has it changed in the last couple of years? But some funds have really stood out in continuing to invest in innovation. This year's finalists include AMP, Russell IQ Super and Sunsuper.
AMP received our Innovation Award a couple of years ago for its Goals 360 tool that advisors could use with their clients to set their goals and to determine the best way to achieve them. And has now developed a new goals tool that's made directly available to members through the member portal, My AMP. This tool makes it much easier for members to articulate their goals and to put in place strategies to achieve those goals, as well as keeping track of how they're going. AMP's Money Brilliant is another new tool. It provides members with a complete view of their money, including their bank accounts, credit cards, mortgages, even loyalty cards. It can automatically detect bills from a member's savings account, create budgets from past spending, and even find better deals for things like banking or electricity supply. It also sends nudges based on members' characteristics and reminders for big expenses coming up. This tool helps members with budgeting in an intuitive and powerful way.
Russell IQ Super has just launched a new system called Goal Tracker. And this effectively is a way of personalising investment strategy and member engagement. It actually allows for the tailoring of a My Super account just for that member. Goal Tracker Plus, which is about to be launched, takes this to another level. It engages with members through really simple approaches that actually help a member understand and engage with the fund to do further tailoring. It will ask things like what your retirement age plan is, what your income needs are going to be, what your other spouse's superannuation accounts are like, even your homeowner status. It uses really simple graphics to help a member understand what their retirement income needs are going to be in the future. And through this whole process, it can actually produce an SOA to help a member tailor their specific investments around achieving those goals. It goes right through then to provide a quarterly engagement process with the member to help keep them on track, to help them understand that they are on track, and ultimately deliver to those retirement goals.
SunSuper's Advisor Online allows advisors to transact on behalf of members, with the member approving those transactions by responding to an email or an SMS that comes with a one-time PIN. For many years, the lack of an advisor portal like this has been a barrier to most advisors using industry funds, but no more for SunSuper. And advisors are putting more and more money with SunSuper, showing that they will use industry funds if they can do so efficiently. And the winner of Best Fund Innovation is Russell IQ Super Employer.
That's another great result, Ian. When you think about some of the things that Russell is doing with this system, actually helping members not only engage with their super, but understand that their engagement is tailoring their super to meet their needs.
Yeah, I thought Russell was really the standout this year. When we look at innovation, this is exactly what we're thinking about.
Fantastic.
The way financial advice is delivered is changing in our industry. Today's super funds need to offer a range of ways for members to access advice, including general advice, digital advice, intra-fund advice, and comprehensive advice. And they need to have scale in each area to do this well, and to provide the best advice for each member when and where they need it. Our top three funds are First State Super, SunSuper and UniSuper.
First State Super has made a big investment in advice through its integration of State Plus. It is now the largest not-for-profit advice business in the country, and it incorporates phone-based advice as well as face-to-face and comprehensive advice. It has 200 advisors delivering financial advice to its members across 75 different locations, mainly in Victoria and New South Wales. It actually delivers advice to 63,000 of its members, and they have funds under advice of over 16 billion.
SunSuper's advice model is based on the principle of providing affordable and accessible quality advice for all members, supported by best practice advice governance. It's been the leader in providing intra-fund advice for many years and efficiently produces SOAs that clearly communicate what a member should do and why they should do it. Through its Sun Tracker program, a phone-based advisor helps a member set their goals and work out a plan to achieve those goals, and they have regular checkups to see how they're going. But rather than providing comprehensive advice itself, which can be complicated by scale but also conflict of interest issues, SunSuper has partnered with a group of good external advisors, its national advice panel of 40 advisors across the country. There's a further 2,800 registered advisors who also service SunSuper members. And as we heard earlier, SunSuper's advisor portal is probably the first from an industry fund to provide the sort of functionality that advisors need to manage their clients efficiently.
UniSuper has consultants and advisors in every university location where they have members. They also have 33 superannuation consultants delivering general advice, 31 financial advisors giving full comprehensive advice, and another 15 review advisors that help with the follow-up of the annual reviews for their members. It has 12 advisors that can deliver scaled advice over video or via the phone, particularly relevant at the moment. Video conferencing is available as well as the on-site within the workplace. All aspects of advice needs are effectively covered because they not only advise on superannuation issues, but estate planning, retirement advice, non-superannuation investments, even investment bonds. And the winner is UniSuper.
I think UniSuper really deserves to win. They have a great model that provides access to almost all their members, either at their workplace or very close to where they are. In some ways it seems a little unfair because they have a concentration in membership, but based on their members, they do an awesome job in providing advice.
And they take advantage of the fact that their members are concentrated, as they should. They're focused on that type of member.
That's right. It's good. It's been another year of change for insurance in super. Since our last awards, we've had the introduction of both protecting your super and putting members' interests first, both of which have reduced the number of members covered by insurance. Putting members' interests first in particular has led to each fund creating its own rules about reinstatement but also opt-in, which unfortunately takes us further away from the goal of standardisation of definitions. What we need is a clear overarching policy on insurance in super, not the piecemeal policy that we're getting at the moment. So what do we look at in the Best Insurance Award? We want to see appropriate levels of default cover, good value premiums, appropriate terms and conditions, and a focus on what's best for the member, whether that's paying a claim or whether it's getting someone back to work. As we say every year, this award is very difficult to assess, because while the provision of insurance in super has a great social benefit, unfortunately it's beset by change, plagued by difficult issues, and just so complex. For this reason, no fund has the ideal offering. The top 3 funds for this award this year are First State Super, MLC MasterKey Business Super, and NGS Super.
First State Super covers mainly New South Wales public sector employees as well as Victorian public hospital employees, and it tailors its insurance around those sorts of groups. It recently introduced this idea of insurance sourcing, separating the insurance services from the insurance risk premium. And by doing that, it's actually created a better ability to negotiate with insurers around how different services are provided. And if this has effectively saved its members over 10% in their premiums.
MLC MasterKey Business Super has a much more diverse membership than either First State Super or NGS Super, and in some ways that makes it more difficult to provide appropriate insurance. But what MLC does is that for smaller employers, it provides a life stages insurance model that approximates needs at each age, but for medium and large employers, it offers tailored insurance, tailored for each employer, generally some sort of salary-based insurance, insurance default, but also the insurance premiums are based on that particular employer rather than just all of MLC employers. There's about 45% of members who are covered by these tailored arrangements, and in some of those arrangements, the employers are the one that actually pay the premiums. Recently, it moved away from its activities of daily living TPD definition that applied to casuals, which actually made it really hard for them to make a claim. And it's now replaced it with an any occupation definition for anyone who's done any work over the past 13 months. Much more appropriate. It's also piloting a pre-claim early engagement model with employers that is called Enhance to identify potential claims early and provide help to members before they even get to the claim stage. It also has its Best Doctors program that is now available to all insured members so that they can access the best specialists locally for assessment and the best specialists internationally for a second opinion. Also, its Mental Health Navigator provides specialist mental health assessment services. And this program has had great results in getting members back to work.
NGS is another fund with a reasonably homogeneous membership, clearly focused around teachers and people who work in the education sector. This allows for the idea of creating insurance design that's purpose-built for those members. Its death cover starts low but builds to $500,000 for those years in the 30s and 40s. Its TPD cover is lower at $150,000, but it's complemented with income protection that goes for 5 years. It's very focused on helping members that are going through a claim get back to work, as well as the idea that income replacement is the central core part of a disability benefit. For all its members that actually claim, or the families of members that die, there is a series of additional programs that will help, called MindStep. This also includes the ability to provide referrers to external counsellors to assist in this very difficult time for members and their families. It also provides teleclaims, which helps start the claim process in a much easier way than dealing through those old difficult insurance forms. As well as that, it's been one of the funds that have moved quite quickly to a definition of activities of daily work. And that actually really focuses on what a disability benefit is in respect of a work environment. And the winner of Best Fund Insurance is NGS Super.
I think that's probably the third year in a row that they've won this award. NGS Super has done a great job of understanding its members and understanding what insurance can apply to those members, both in terms of the product side, but also in terms of the servicing side. So congratulations again to NGS Super.
Yeah, and I think you're right at what you said at the start about this being a really complicated area. What we're really focusing on is the funds that can cut through that complication for their members and deliver something that actually really protects them. And it's a great result.
We'll spend a bit more time on this award, firstly because this is the area that has the biggest impact on member outcomes. But secondly, because the recent market falls and early access to super have focused huge attention on the way super funds invest. This is a challenging time for funds investment teams and also for funds communications teams. With the heightened market volatility to continue for some time, it's important to remind members that superannuation is for the long term and that funds continue to deliver on their long-term promises to members. This first chart shows that since the introduction of compulsory super in 1992, funds have delivered a return of 7.9% per annum. That translates to a real return of 5.5% per annum after inflation, 2% above the typical investment objective. The next chart shows median returns for each financial year over the same period. While the record-breaking run of positive returns will probably end this year, that would still only be the fourth negative year in 28, an average of 1 every 7 years. The typical risk objective of funds is no more than 1 negative year in 5, so funds are delivering far better than the risk objective as well. That's a terrific achievement, given the 3 major market corrections in that time: the tech wreck, the GFC, and now COVID-19.
Our shortlisted funds this year are Australian Super, CBUS, Q Super and Uni Super. So what's different about these different funds? All of them have strong investment teams. All of them have scale. All of them have excellent governance and delegate to internal teams. But each one of them invests in a different way, demonstrating that there's no one silver bullet to achieve great retirement outcomes. Australian Super has a big team of 170 front office investment professionals, supported by 190 investment people that support the operations of that team. Mark Delaney has led the Australian Super investment team, and he's got a very strong and stable set of sector heads. And it has built this internal management capability to ensure that it can deliver and manage those assets in an incredible way. Alongside being a major investor in the Australian market, with around 40 billion of its assets in local domestic equities and infrastructure, it is also looking to grow its global presence. It already has an office in the UK and in Beijing, and will be opening a New York office sometime soon. And this will allow it to better find those opportunities that exist in those markets, to manage and negotiate on the deals, and ultimately to continue to deliver great outcomes for its members.
CBUS is a new entrant to our shortlist for this award. Under the leadership of Christian Falk, it has built up a strong and experienced investment team of 102 staff, of which 54 are front office staff. When CBUS first approved the current investment model back in 2016, It only had 40 in its investment team. The current investment model involved an uplift in both portfolio design and responsible investment capabilities, as well as bringing in-house the investment management of specific asset class strategies. It currently manages about 25% internally across Australian small cap, global developed market shares, emerging market shares, property, infrastructure, fixed interest, alternative debt and cash. And a range of additional mandates will come online soon. And it has a strong commitment to unlisted assets, leveraging off the expertise of Cbus property.
Q Super also has a very strong internal team of 45 investment professionals led by Charles Woodhouse. This is supported by a very strong investment strategy team led by Damien Lillicrap. They've operated in a very different way to a lot of other super funds, and at the beginning of the year only had around 29% of the balanced portfolio invested in equities. This compares to around 53% being the median of its peer set. Supporting that low amount of investments in equities was a high investment, around 25%, in long duration bonds. And this has meant they've been able to smooth the investment performance and deal with the investment market downturn that we've experienced in the last few months. They've managed that really, really well. They've been operating in this way since around 2010 as a particular idea that came out of the wake of the GFC. And it has really helped to smooth the volatility of their investment performance. Another key point of differentiation for Q Super is their listed equities. While the average fund invests around 50-50 between Australian equities and international equities, Q Super has a very different split, with only about 25% of its equities in the Australian share market, the rest being overseas and better representing what the opportunity set of global share markets is.
UniSuper has a different investment model again. John Pearce leads an investment team of 55, most of whom have experience in direct investing. And this gives the fund confidence to manage assets internally. It now manages 70% of total assets internally across 35 listed market mandates covering equities, REITs, hybrids, infrastructure, fixed interest, credit and cash. These strategies incorporate both fundamental and quantitative strategies. Of the top performing funds over the long term, UniSuper stands out for its low allocation to unlisted assets, only about 7%. But what it does is it uses its expertise in direct investing to gain most of its real asset exposure through large investments in high quality listed companies like the APA Group, Sydney Airport, Transurban and the ASX, all of which it has acquired at attractive prices. Its in-house capability has also enabled it to establish large single stock exposures to some of the major global companies. It also has one of the more diverse global equities portfolios with specific regional and sector allocations. Over short-term periods of share market weakness, UniSuper may lag its peers, but over the long term it continues to be a strong long-term performer and maintains a strong liquidity position, which means that the recent member switching and also early release has been much easier for it to manage. And the winner of Best Fund Investments is Q Super.
That's a great result, Ian, isn't it? And it's such an important category. It's such an important thing that actually delivers on retirement outcomes. And Q Super have really looked at doing this quite differently to the way of the rest of the market, which actually requires a bit of bravery.
Yep, well done Q Super.
Yeah. Member services is second only to investments in terms of its importance in driving great retirement outcomes. Members themselves can often find it difficult to make that connection between what they do now and what that will mean for their future. So this connection is really important, and this award really concentrates on the way funds can achieve that connection in a positive way. The shortlisted funds for this award are AMP, Mercer and Sunsuper.
AMP uses its data analytics to provide the right message at the right time and in the right way for its members. These messages are delivered to members through campaigns, the contact centre, member statements and also My AMP, its member portal. My AMP also brings together its goals and money brilliant tools that we heard about earlier that allow members to keep track of their finances and also plan for the future. These tools provide a single view for a member of all that they have so they can view and interact with that. It doesn't just show their super, but it also includes their savings, their shares, their mortgages and insurance. These are great tools that help members with budgeting, cash flow and spending, as well as tracking towards their long-term goals.
Mercer's analytics engine, Mercer Edge, is fully integrated into all contact points with members, including the CRM, which is a single view of each of their members. This means that those contact points can continue to deliver these strong positive messages. That might be in automated events like member statements or on member joinings, but also on things where members are actually interacting, such as making additional contributions or the transition to retirement. In addition, Mercer has also completely transformed the way they think about a member seminar. Rather than just being based around what superannuation is or what insurance is, these seminars are now framed around the things that members can do to achieve these better outcomes. This includes the idea of financial well-being. The sessions are actually run by advisors as well, which makes a really easy transition for members to have one-on-one conversations or full-on financial advice.
Sunsuper's model of member engagement is based around 4 stages. Stage 1 is to inform the member of the issue and nudge them along to considering should they perhaps think about this. Number 2 is helping them explore and play, to look at the potential, if I did this, what difference would it make? And then when the members decided to do something, number 3 is helping them to do it in an easy way. And number 4, listening to members. Sunsuper's goal is not just informing members, but is to get members to explore the possibilities and, if appropriate, change their behaviour and take action. Members are closely involved in improving service at Sunsuper. Members co-design communications. They are involved in co-designing new tools and new web pages. They're also involved in retesting once those have been made to make sure that they meet their needs and are easy to use. Sunsuper's communication to members are striking and visual, using attention-grabbing graphics to make its point clearly and to offer an easy way to implement. Sunsuper doesn't just settle for what works, but it keeps pushing for what works better. Sunsuper has led the way in developing personalised communications to members across multiple channels. It uses all it knows about each member to determine each member's next best action, that it delivers automatically through campaigns, the contact centre and Member Online. And the winner of Best Fund Member Services is Sunsuper.
What a fantastic result for Sunsuper. And this category, Ian, is so important because it's that connection, that coming together of both member services and investments, and really helping members understand what the investment services are, what they are delivering, and allowing them to engage in this investment process in a way that makes great benefits for them over the long term.
Sunsuper, we've been really impressed with what they've done for a number of years on member services, but we keep coming back and they keep doing more. They keep getting better. It's great to see.
Absolutely.
Well, another year has passed and once again there has been very little movement on longevity products, partly due to the lack of clarity on SIPPers, but also partly due to the fact that there's just so much else going on in the industry. However, a few funds are working on some exciting new products that should go live later on this year. So next year in our awards, we hopefully can highlight lots of new longevity products. Despite its name, this award will be the shortest award that we'll be covering because there's not a whole lot to say. Our 10 finalists for this award encompass almost the full range of products that offer a longevity solution. Nearly all offer an annuity, mostly from Challenger, but UniSuper has its own lifetime pension and Mercer has its group self-annuitisation product.
While several other funds offer annuities, Colonial First State has integrated them the best in terms of their platform and processes. Annuities from both Challenger and CommInsure sit side by side within the platforms and the funds delivered through First Choice and First Wraps Plus. They sit there on both the advisor portal and the member portal. And because this is very much an advised process, this is really important. These member portals and advisor portals also include really integrated and comprehensive reporting. Annuity is available through a single sign-on on First Choice, and as the member and advisor work through the process, they have integrated, pre-populated application forms and an application tracking process. Colonial First State's success in integrating these annuities into its platform is showing real success, with over $1.7 billion on the platform in these products, far higher than many other platforms, and has collaborated with both CommInsure and Challenger to provide great calculators and really impressive education for its members. And they often provide joint presentations to advisors. The winner of Best Fund Longevity is Colonial First State First Choice Wholesale.
Well done to Colonial First State. They've integrated these annuities really well. But hopefully next year there'll be a whole bunch of new products that we can talk about as well.
So the Longevity Award next year won't be the shortest award we have.
Exactly.
Well done, Colonial First State. This award is for those funds that don't try to be all things to all people. Rather, it's about those funds that specialise for members in a particular industry. Some funds use this specialisation as a means of differentiation, but equally we know that there has been some real challenges around some of the funds that are in industries that have particularly been impacted by COVID-19 through either people losing their jobs or early release of that superannuation. Nevertheless, we still see that there's a really important place for funds that specialise for members in a particular industry. Our top two funds in this category are CBUS and HESTA.
CBUS has about 2/3 of its members from the building and construction industry. These members typically have broken work patterns. In a given year they may work for a few different employers, so this makes super really problematic. But the fund's mobile app makes it easier for members to take their super from one employer to another and to ensure that they get the super they're entitled to. It has a contribution collection process that recognises non-payment early and proactively works with employers to get the money paid. Over the last 5 years, it's recovered $330 million of members' money. Its focus on construction workers has enabled it to secure an insurance carve-out for manual workers under age 25 or with low balances, so it can keep offering these members default insurance cover. Significantly, 60% of its death claims for under 25s are paid to dependents, so that's why this cover is really important. Continuing default cover for under 25s probably wouldn't have been possible for a large fund with diverse membership, so its specialised nature has proved incredibly valuable at this time. The fund's workplace coordinators are regularly on site helping out members with their super. And during this COVID-19 period, when a lot of CBUS members are still working, CBUS coordinators are still there too, helping CBUS members. It has a significant investment in CRM also, CRM and digital, that allows it to connect with members in different ways through a range of automated campaigns, which is really important at this time. It provides retirement income estimates to members via video, which also shows them how they can improve their situation. It publishes brochures in a range of different languages and also has translation services over the phone for those who don't speak English. And finally, its insurance claims process is high touch, leading the member step by step through the process.
HESTA is all about health and community services, with over 85% of its members working in that sector. Over 80% of its members are female, and many of the things that HESTA does concentrates on that gender. This includes acknowledgement of broken work patterns, a lot of casual and part-time work as well. This means that HESTA can really look after its members well. HESTA actively lobbies government around superannuation issues that affect its members, and it also invests in low-cost housing. This is a way of generating more affordable housing, which is often used by some of its members. It also looks at investing in hospitals and aged care facilities through a specialist mandate with ISPT. Effectively, HESTA is looking at generating great returns based on assets that represent where some of its members live and where they work. Its insurance is tailored to the membership as well, and that focus is on long-term income protection and fits very well with AIA's strong rehabilitation programs. Members have access to an e-claims portal, which makes the process of claiming that much easier. This is really important because it affects HESTA members at their time of greatest need. And the Specialist Fund of the Year is CBUS.
Really happy for CBUS. They well deserve this award. They are so focused on their members from this particular industry and do a great job for them in many ways, as we've heard.
As you mentioned, they have really knuckled down on what was happening with their membership through this COVID period.
Yes, yeah.
And done things quite differently as a result.
Yep, it's been good. Great.
Almost all our other awards assume members join by default or by their own personal choice. But many people seek advice around their financial services first, and then their advisor may make a recommendation around a super fund. The products that advisors like to use are ones that help the advisor spend their time on providing strategic advice rather than implementation. These awards are therefore focused on products like that, and we call them advised products. The top three for this award for this year are BT Panorama, Hub24 and NetWealth.
BT Panorama's platform is now almost fully built out to where it wants it to be. But with platforms, development never really stops, does it? BT kicked off price competition in the platform space in mid-2018, with others soon following suit. But it still has some of the lowest fees across almost all account balances. It also offers its discount compact wrap for clients with simpler needs. It now has about $26 billion in assets in Panorama, and the last 12 months has had inflows of about $9 billion, although some of that has been from other BT products. BT has an intuitive and powerful app for investors, and it continues to invest in its advisor portal, which is easy to use, allows individual and bulk transactions for advisors, and also provides comprehensive reporting. Digital consent processes allow advisors to process changes which can simply be authorised by clients simply with one click. Its managed account functionality is very flexible, allowing for SMAs constructed from other SMAs, which can be set up across multiple clients and separately tailored for each client.
Hub24 is growing fast, with net inflows over the last 12 months of over $2.5 billion. Hub24 provides bespoke offerings for each advisor group across both their investment menu and their fees. It has one of the widest choices of managed accounts and offers international securities in multiple currencies. The core offering has a simplified menu across a range of managed accounts from leading portfolio managers and charges no dollar-based account keeping fees. Its ROA generator tool is fully tailorable to the advisor group, and this allows production of ROAs that advisors can then send to clients for authorisation. Once they receive the OK, advisors can simply click one button to action that on the system. And it's building out its Connect Hub, which will provide a full view of household wealth for its advisors, aggregating assets and data from multiple sources. Finally, its progressive portfolio implementation tool is unique and allows portfolio managers to efficiently implement their best investment ideas by directing new inflow to substitute investments without the need to disrupt existing holdings. This can have a big impact, especially at a time of high market volatility like we have now.
NetWealth also continues to grow strongly. Net inflows for 2019 were $4.4 billion. Partly due to a big boost from ANZ Private, but it's now used by about 2,700 advisors, up from 13% over the last year. It recently reduced fees on its flagship product by about 30%, and it offers a low-cost core offering that includes high-quality Russell multi-manager options, index options, and some index SMAs. In its Plus offering, it currently has about 50 SMAs that are available to all advisors, and about 170 private label SMAs available to particular advice firms. It also offers international securities. Netwealth continues to invest in its systems to drive efficiency for its advisors. After some early challenges during mid-March because of COVID-19, with massively increased trading volumes, it has scaled up and is ready to deal with uplifted volumes as they occur again. During the year, it introduced new switch functionality, enhancements to its rebalancing tool, and it upgraded its fully tailorable cash management tool, so advisors can ensure large amounts of cash don't sit idle. It also offers some really important compliance features, such as digital client authorisation of model portfolio changes and also online fee proposals. It also offers some important compliance features, such as digital client authorisation for model portfolio changes or online fee proposals. It also offers a secure document uploader and the acceptance of digital signatures on most documents to make administration simpler. And the winner of Advise Product of the Year is Netwealth Accelerator.
Netwealth has done very well in this category over a number of years, hasn't it, Ian? And it really demonstrates how much they're investing in their platform year on year in a very consistent way.
It has. This year I think it was perhaps the closest call. Very close, so really keen to see what some of the other platforms do over the next year to see if they can knock off Netwealth next year.
This award is for the funds that cater specifically for medium to large employers, generally offering very sharp pricing, flexible insurance arrangements, and high quality member and employer services. The funds that are active in this space are the corporate super master trusts and some of the industry funds that offer tailored services. Over the past year, we have seen an increase in the number of large employers looking at the default arrangements for their staff. This comes through in our awards. Our top two funds for this year are Mercer and Sun Super.
Mercer has had a strong corporate offering for many years. Its recent big win was Chevron. Its life cycle investments are well managed, with a good amount of diversification across a wide range of asset classes, including some unlisted assets. And in the current crisis, it has fared better than almost all other retail funds, so far at least. Its use of 5-year cohorts does a better job at grouping members with similar needs than the standard 10-year cohorts that we see in most other life cycles. Mercer has also revamped its member engagement model, which is now focused on financial wellness and members taking action, which is supported by access to financial advice. And its use of its powerful tools, Mercer Edge and Salesforce, have enabled the automation of personalised messages to members, and have also provided great access to data for relationship managers, so that for each of their plans, they can tailor the engagement program for that particular group.
In the past year and a bit, Sun Super has actually won 24 tenders and over $4.5 billion in assets, with the big one being IAG NRMA Super. It continues to deliver very strong performance from a well-diversified investment portfolio, including high-quality unlisted assets sourced from around the world. Its lifecycle MySuper avoids some of the problems of cohort-based life cycles by gradually transitioning the SAA from age 55. Its member services are top class, as we've heard already, delivering engaging, personalised messages that drive positive action for its members that are easy to take. Its communications and product development strategy includes input from members to help design and test the new features that they introduce each year. And its relationship managers have access to great reporting on each one of their employer clients to create individual action plans for those employers and their employees. And the winner of the Corporate Solutions Fund of the Year is Sun Super.
Yeah, congratulations again to Sun Super. They have a really strong all-round offering in this corporate space and fully deserve the award.
Yeah, I agree. They pick up a lot of business in this area, but it's very well deserved. And now we're going to hear from AIA Australia, who are our major sponsor. AIA have been involved in the Chant West Awards for a number of years now, and we really appreciate their ongoing support for this award. Over to you, Damien Mew, the CEO of AIA Australia.
Thanks, Jeff, and thanks, Ian, and hi to everyone out there. Hope you're all keeping well and safe during these times. AIA is a proud sponsor of the Chant West Awards, and this year more than ever, when we think about the important role that superannuation funds are playing in the lives of Australians, it is important that we take time to step back and recognise the efforts of those that are looking to drive better and better outcomes for Australians year on year. And AIA Australia is very proud to be able to partner with superannuation funds to help protect Australians when they need it, but ultimately to help them lead healthier, longer, better lives so that when they do get to retirement, they can enjoy their retirement savings and the life post-working. And, I just want to say, while we can't all be together to celebrate, we still think that it's really important as we all continue to strive day in, day out to deliver better outcomes from Australians, that we do recognise the efforts that you are making. And I want to congratulate Chant West on doing that and making sure that we do stop to recognise, amongst all the busyness, the efforts that people are making to deliver better outcomes. So thank you very much, and we appreciate being part of this and want to commend you on your efforts, and hand back to Jeff and Ian for the last two awards.
Thanks, Damien. And now we're going to talk about the Pension Fund of the Year.
Arguably, this award is what really counts, because this is when the rubber hits the road and funds deliver for their members by paying them a retirement income. For this award, we look at all the elements that contribute to the pension member experience, including investments, product, servicing and advice. Our top three funds this year are First State Super, Q Super and Uni Super.
First State Super has 27 billion in pension assets, including State Plus, for around 86,000 pension members, and it pays around $2 billion in pensions out each year. Its pension investments have been transformed through the integration with State Plus. It's not just about replicating the accumulation version of these investment options, but tailoring them specifically for the needs of members in that pension phase. This includes strategies around minimising downside risk, and that's been incredibly important in the wake of the last few months. Its pension performance is now top quartile over almost all periods. It can also provide access to financial advice through its 200 advisors, both full advice as well as scaled advice. 40% of First State Super members and 93% of State Plus members receive advice as they transition to retirement.
Q Super has over $19 billion in pension assets and 53,000 pension members. It pays pensions of about $1 billion each year. Q Super's investments are its most important differentiator, and they're especially well suited to pension members. As we heard earlier, its portfolios are more diversified than probably any other fund, with its risky asset exposure split between both equities and long duration bonds, as well as having a meaningful allocation to high quality unlisted assets. This structure is designed to provide a smoother ride and better protection when markets fall. And this is exactly what we've seen in the past few months. Q Super made a strategic call a decade ago about how it would invest its members' money, and now it's paying off. The performance of its balanced option is now in the top 10 for all periods to March 2020. Q Super also recognises the importance of engaging with its pension members, and it provides retirement smart seminars just for retirees. Its members also have ready access to financial advice through QSuper's 40 financial advisors spread across 9 offices all across Queensland.
UniSuper has pension assets of $17 billion and 30,000 pension members. It pays pensions of around $1 billion each year, and 2/3 of all its members transferring to pension receive advice. Its investments are managed by a strong, experienced team, and they have performed very well over many years. Its focus on high-quality listed assets, brought at attractive prices over time, has really paid off for members. It runs dedicated in-retirement seminars for most pension members, and they are very well attended. Its advice team has great scale, experience and expertise. 46 advisors providing face-to-face advice, both strategic and ongoing. It offers the full range of advice services, including non-superannuation investments as well. Unlike most other industry funds, its review advice is significant, covering $8 billion in assets, much of which is in the pension phase. The Pension Fund of the Year winner for 2020 is QSuper. Now we've got Jason Murray, the Chief of Member Experience from QSuper, on the line. Jason's going to say a few words.
Thank you, Jeff. This is very exciting to win. Look, the challenging times currently facing Australians brings into sharp focus both purpose and performance of the whole Australian superannuation industry. Put simply, we exist to help working Australians have a dignified retirement. And this award is one QSuper values that recognises how we're going on that against that purpose. It's a result of much hard work by many people over decades. So thank you to everybody at QSuper for putting members at the heart of everything we do. Thank you very much, Chant for the recognition. And most of all, thank you to all of our members who inspire us to build a fund that they can trust with their future. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Jason, and congratulations to QSuper once again.
Yeah, this year QSuper's investment model really shows its worth, especially for pension members who really can't afford to have that large downturn.
And the fact that they've been doing this now for 10 years, really sticking to their guns about that process. All of those ideas came out of the last downturn with the GFC, and it has really paid off for their members.
Yeah, absolutely.
So here we are, Ian, Super Fund of the Year, our final award. And for this award, we are particularly looking for funds that have the capabilities, scale and approach to deliver for member services over the long term. To be there in, say, 30 years' time when their members are going to be using it in retirement. While some of our top 3 funds may actually look different to the way they do now, they all will have the scale and capabilities to deliver strong investment outcomes for members over the long term. Our top 3 funds for 2020 are QSuper, SunSuper and UniSuper.
QSuper's investment model has come to the fore in the current COVID-19 crisis. It was designed to better protect members in times just like this, and its diversifying assets have cushioned the blow for members, just like they were supposed to. Its Lifecycle MySuper leverages off this same investment approach and overlays age and account balance to slot members into an appropriate portfolio. It also provides a full range of advice services via phone and face-to-face. Its network of QInvest advisors across the state provides good access for members to comprehensive advice. It's also done a lot in member engagement over the past year, with a massive refresh of its public site, targeted campaigns on issues like tax deductions on personal contributions, a growing social media presence, and a new online join facility.
SunSuper is a very strong all-round fund. Its automated trigger-based communications, all personalised at the member level, communicate next best action to members through multiple channels. The communications are co-designed and tested with members in mind to make sure they are engaging and impactful. 4 years of strategic investment in their operations processes has led to a very strong and robust platform. It's very easy to deal with members, employers and advisors. The focus of its investments is well-diversified core of unlisted assets, where it is a competitive advantage through its scale, its expertise and its relationships. It also has the right amount of listed assets to provide liquidity at times such as this. Its performance has been top quartile over most periods. Its net cash flow over the last year was a big $8 billion.
And finally, UniSuper. Its investment approach is quite unique in the default space, but its strong team has delivered year after year through its focus on listed assets and skill at identifying and quickly acting on opportunistic investments. Also, help is close at hand for members through its on-campus network. Advice is available both at universities but also CBD member centres, which cater for the full range of advice. The fund has a growing reputation outside the higher education sector as well, and its net cash flow for last year was $3.5 billion. And the winner of the 2020 Super Fund of the Year is Sunsuper. Now we'd like to cross to Bernard Riley, Sunsuper's CEO, for a few words to accept the award.
Hi, Ian. On behalf of everyone at Sunsuper, thank you to Chant West for recognising us as the 2020 Super Fund of the Year. I'm delighted and incredibly honoured to accept the award. In what has truly been an unprecedented start to the year, this award is an acknowledgement of each and every one of the Sunsuper team who work hard every day to deliver the best outcomes for our 1.4 million members. We've had no better example than how our people have come together over recent weeks to give timely help and support to our members who are experiencing financial difficulty. Our members remain our focus, safeguarding their savings, keeping fees low, delivering strong and competitive long-term returns and transforming member services is what we do every day. I'd also like to recognise the other finalists for this award and their dedication, energy and ingenuity that all funds have demonstrated in doing our part to help Australians through this crisis. Thank you again, Chant West, for the recognition.
Yeah, thanks, Bernard. Congratulations once again to Sunsuper for winning the Super Fund of the Year award. Sunsuper does a great job in so many areas and it's a well-deserving award.
It really is a great all-rounder as a super fund, isn't it? And this award is for everyone that works in it, as well as its members. I think it's a fantastic effort.
Yeah, well done, Sunsuper. Well, that wraps up Chant West's 2020 Super Fund Awards. Congratulations to all the finalists and especially to all the winners.
And we'd also like to thank our major sponsor, AIA Australia, and our media partner, Investor Strategy News.
And thanks to you, the audience, for tuning in to a very different awards. We hope to see you all next year. Thank you.
Thank you.